Hello, Design Hustlers. It's Carol with Designtex. Today, I want to share with you some new introductions from our Designtex Digital Studio. If you don't recall what that is from the video I sent out last July, no worries. I'm not going to hold it against you. 2020 was a year that many of us wish to forget.
Why search endlessly for the right color match or scale when you can design it yourself with just a few clicks? Now you can create the perfect color and pattern to go with all your other favorite Designtex products. Designtex Digital Studio, or DDS for short, is a self-service online platform where we have adaptable patterns and invite you to co-create products by customizing color, scale, and materiality. These customizable patterns can be printed on wall covering or fabric for a tiny 10-yard minimum, 2-week lead time, and are priced in the 40s and 50s.
Do you remember that mind-blowing video yet?
We often source designs from surface designers, find patterns within an artist's work, or collaborate with others, and on some occasions we create original designs.
This video is a little bit longer than my recent ones, but I wanted to elaborate on the artists behind each of these patterns, especially since 2 of the artists work for Designtex in our Portland Surface Imaging Studio and deserve a little bit of shine from the spotlight. So hang in there, watch all the way to the end of the video because I have a fun creative contest for you and you just might win something cool for your house.
Our 8 recent additions to the DDS pattern family are inspired by connection to family and the optimism of natural patterning. The first pattern is by artist and designer and Designtex project manager Rachel Adams. Rachel's work displays her adoration of African mud cloths, Scandinavian design, and American quilts. Grandma's Mac and Cheese is based on one of Rachel's hand-painted panels, inspired by memories of family traditions. Grandma's Mac and Cheese is based on one of the first paintings Rachel created after having her first daughter. The animated version of Snowy Day was often on repeat to delight and distract her newborn, and influenced her paintings at that time. From these renderings, you can see that Grandma's Mac and Cheese is delicious as a wall covering or upholstery pattern in any scale. This isn't a side dish pattern. Grandma's Mac and Cheese is the main course. The next DDS pattern is Champ by artist Elizabeth Atterbury. You may recall Elizabeth as the designer for our social dance pattern from our Krypton 5x5 collection. We're excited to add another pattern derived from her ongoing series of prints at Wingate Studio. Elizabeth often works with paper cutouts and printmaking processes, as is the case with the Champ design, which is based on a motif that repeats across several prints from her Wingate River poem series. Layers of cutout symbols and objects which hold significance as memories or traces from her life are glimpsed through a top layer of repeating cutout floral shapes. On the wall, or as a textile, Champ creates a rhythmic and hopeful graphic surface as a multicolored design or tonal, depending on how it's colored, and it can be a graphic or textural, depending on its scale. The next 6 patterns are inspired by the optimism of natural patterning, biophilic design principles, and everyday exuberance like our DROP05 collection. These patterns are fashion-forward with optimism for the future we can create together. There's a feeling of resonance from patterns we recognize from nature. You may be familiar with Mod, a classic Designtex upholstery pattern. We have added Mod to our DDS pattern collection, and now you can customize color and scale for this bold floral motif, as well as print it on panel fabric and wall covering. We love its simple modern beauty. The next 4 patterns were designed specifically for DDS and designed by artist Karen Gilardi, who's another one of the talented artists who work in our Portland, Maine surface imaging facility. Karen explored natural biophilic pattern categories such as the Fibonacci series, waves, spirals, webs, banding, and irregular edges for her 4 patterns. The pattern Metamorphic is inspired by rock subjected to high temperatures and the great pressure of the rock that creates banding. This pattern can be colored tonally or can be a bold multicolor combination, or you can simplify it by choosing the same color in multiple spots. We tried to build in some opportunities for you as a designer to hack the patterns, which allows room for the pattern to evolve. Karen's next pattern, Canopy, was inspired by dappled light, overlapping leaves, and the spaces between. This sophisticated camouflage replicates the feeling of gazing up at a canopy or out into dense vegetation. For the pattern Future Flower, which features scattered botanical bits and pieces, Karen referenced some previous artwork where she used alphabet shapes to create a mural design. A typical floral motif was broken down into smaller building block shapes to create a futuristic manufactured flower. Karen's pattern Ground Cover was inspired by earth covered with a diversity of ground cover species that renew and protect the soil. Layers of interconnecting botanical forms repeat with room for the unexpected. This design comes from an ink drawing Karen created prior to 2012. Her original intent for this pattern was for it to be used in a way to cover surfaces so that the drawing itself could expand and grow into spaces organically, with pattern and repetition, making DDS a perfect platform for this piece. The final pattern I will share with you is another beautiful design by Rachel Adams. Rachel visited with friends who raised heritage breed chickens and was fascinated by their distinct feather patterns. Rachel suggests hazel rock could be used as a neutral if a tonal approach is used in color customization. Whether you choose a monochromatic combination or decide to ruffle some feathers with a really bold color statement, hazel rock rocks. It's contest time! Now's your chance to create your very own digital design studio pattern and win a pair of throw pillows made with your creation.
So here's how to play. Go to DesigntexDigitalStudio.com, customize one of our textile substrates with a pattern, color, and scale that you would like to see in your home, download the spec sheet PDF, order your samples through the Digital Studio site, and send me a copy of your spec sheet by March 5th to enter. A little tip from me is if you plan to order the 100% scaled pattern, I advise also creating the same pattern at a 25% scale and ordering a sample of that too. That way you can see a little bit more of the pattern repeat on your letter size sample piece. If you need help navigating the Digital Studio platform, stay tuned for the next few minutes and I'll walk you through the process step by step. You can always give me a call or shoot me an email and I'm happy to help you that way too. Air hugs and elbow bumps. See you guys soon.
First, go to DesigntexDigitalStudio.com and create your custom sample. Then you'll want to choose a textile substrate. I personally like brush flannel, but you could also choose gamut or hemstitch. Next, find your favorite pattern and customize it to suit your color scheme. I'm picking a new one called Metamorphic. You should choose a pattern in the Designtex Digital Studio that you would want in your home. Click Customize to see a few color suggestions. And remember, if you win, this is going in your home, so make it personal. You can change one or all available colors just to get the right look. Once you're happy with your color selections and have found that perfect shade of orange, click on Render. And here you can click on different scale options as well. Once you're ready to order your sample, click on Download Spec Sheet. You will need this PDF to order your sample and to enter my contest. Create as many samples as you like. Once saved, go back and order your sample through the Digital Design Studio format. You'll have to submit it through a Smartsheet. And don't forget to email me that spec PDF by March 5th to enter.